Hello everybody, it is Sunday, the 8th of May. I want to talk about being of sound judgment during this time of tribulation. Now, just thinking what's happening at the moment, this great spiritual awakening. Now there's a lot of energy in this world at the moment, and that is both emotional energy and there's a lot of thought energy in this world at this moment in time. And we are asking questions and we are getting answers brought to us on those energies. And a lot of people are working this energy and saying, I'm going to get some spiritual awareness now. I'm going to expand. I'm going to get to a higher level of consciousness. And then they search through the garden of spiritual trees, like Hinduism and Buddhism and Zen and Christianity and Islam and all of those trees. And, high up and far out. And they're not seeing what is right in front of their nose. And they're looking for spiritual knowledge somewhere else instead of inside of themselves, which is where they should look. And to understand what is happening at the moment, that we are co-creators, every one of us, in what is happening at the moment, through what we do, the way we behave, what we think, what we say, we add to this mess. And what is happening outside of it, what is created then as form, is actually coming from inside of us, and it is inside of us that we must correct it. And we must hear ourselves, because our spirit is speaking at the moment. It's not in some book, and it's not way out there in another dimension, it's speaking right here. Our spirit is speaking. And we must listen to it, and we must interpret it correctly. So a lot of talk at the moment about the law. There's also talk about two different laws, like common law and corporate law. And again, we look at this world and we see it in this world, because these two laws have been creating this world for a long time, especially corporate law, which is now taking over, ruling this world. But then to understand that even inside of us, we are operating on two different laws. Our judgment is created by two different laws inside of ourselves. And we must understand the difference between common law and corporate law. Because in the end, the law that is inside of us, that is the veil through which the knowledge must travel. And it will only let in certain knowledges, and we only speak or do certain things, and that's our two cherubims. Those that let the knowledge in, and those that let stuff out of our own garden. So we must understand which law we are operating on. Now, common law, and in the Bible, common law is the 10 Commandments. Common law is there to serve the people, and it is grown out of a knowledge of ourselves. So that is, we know what it feels like, or what it is like if something's done to us. And then we know it as good and bad. And out of that, common law is created. Like it says law, like you should not steal, you should not lie, you should not kill. It came out of the knowledge of ourselves. That's our law, that's our conscience, and we know that out of our own experiences. So we do not want to be lied to, we do not want to be stolen from, we do not want to be killed. And common law, it puts these commandments on everybody, and regardless, common law should stand for all. It doesn't matter what position you hold in society. It should be there for all. So common knowledge is grown out of the knowledge of ourselves. That's our law. And we should operate under our own law. And it should stand for all. So that is how it should be. And that is the law that should be in our heads, according to which we let stuff in. Yeah, for instance, we've been told to do something to somebody else. Then we should judge under common law whether we should do that, or say that, or even think that. Yeah, so then our two judges are operating on common law. But then there's the other law, which is corporate law. And that operates completely different. Completely different. Corporate law, whereas common law should be the law of all, common law is the law of the few. And the few that come together under an intention form a corporation because they want the intent to do something, to produce something, or to produce an outcome. Yeah? So, and that is their law, the law of the few that come together under an intention. Now, the oldest corporation in that book there, in the Bible, is Elohim. Elohim are a corporation. They came together under an intention. The intention being to subdue nature and rule over it and have dominion over this world. Now, the way it operates is the law is set so that it always favors the intention. And the people inside of the corporation are being judged by how much they serve the intention or how little they serve the intention. So it is no longer good or evil according to common law, but whether it serves the intention or not. Which is why we were judged under corporate law in the Garden of Eden. When we would no longer serve the intention, when we covered up our knowledge, we got chucked out. That was us being judged under corporate law. And again, if you see the story in the Bible of Moses, yeah, as I said, the 10 Commandments were common law. The law of Moses, again, is corporate law. It serves an intention. The intention was that they should get to the promised land. And on the way, people were killed. But that is because they no longer served the intention. Those that were swallowed up because the ground opened up beneath them, they were judged under corporate law. They were no longer on board with the intention, so they were destroyed. And under corporate law, that is righteous. Under corporate law, that is morally justifiable because the intention is above everything else, above life itself. So then we must understand what law it is we're operating under. Yeah. So at the moment I can see different groups of people in this world. Like religion-believing people, they operate under corporate law. Bible-believing Christians are operating mostly under corporate law because, when I say Bible-believing, it's usually doctrine-believing Christians, let's say it like that. They operate under corporate law. That is, they're being told by their church what is good and what is bad because it serves the church. and then they will go up against others and call it righteous, in their righteous anger, and do things to others that under common law, under the knowledge of themselves, they should know is bad, but they no longer do because they are operating under corporate law. And they're doing so unconsciously, and that is the thing, because they are not aware of the difference between the two. And that is because corporate law has said, I am all, and you are nothing. Yeah? Don't go by your own understanding. So that's what's happening to them, and then good becomes bad and bad becomes good. Then there are the elites, which are obviously full on under corporate law, but they're doing that by choice. They're doing that with their eyes open. They do understand. They understand the difference between the two laws, and they've made a choice under which law to operate. Then there are those that two cherubims are slightly dysfunctional, whereas where they let stuff in and they judge it under common law according, to their own conscience, and they know good from bad. But what goes out, is lip service to something else, out of fear. So they are acquiescing out of fear. So we have two groups of people, and they are acquiescing for two different reasons. One, they do it out of fear, and the others, they do it because they don't know what they're doing. They don't understand the two different laws. So, those are the groups. And then the last group are those that let things in, and they do judge under common law. Their conscience is according to themselves, to their own knowledge of good and bad, and they will treat another person the way they want to be treated themselves, and they speak their truth. And that is the smallest group, I would think, that is here at the moment. Then we have a large group of also spiritual people that talk about God knows what, which is kind of irrelevant at the moment. It's out there somewhere. But they don't talk about what is their own spirit is telling them. They don't hear themselves. They don't hear their own spirit speaking. They look for knowledge somewhere else. It needs to be according to us. So, we're going into the tribulation now. And, the greatest group at the moment, again, is the group that sees this on a materialistic level. Yeah, they see the two laws. They see good and bad, but they only see it in the world, in the materialistic world, and they're going up against institutions, against politicians, and God knows what. Yeah. Now, what's happening at the moment, this awakening, we are spewing out knowledge. Yeah. Our bottomless pits have opened, and we are just spewing it out left, right, and center. And again, it is the gold mine of the gods, and they're mining the gold. But of course, as we are spewing out this knowledge, we can see that something is wrong in this world, and we're seeing it more and more. That's the price they have to pay. They have to pay for getting at this knowledge that is coming out of us. So, and there needs to be retribution. Obviously, there has to be a retribution. We need to go back to sleep at some point. Once they've got the knowledge and they've got what they want, we need to go back to sleep. We need to feel that everything is okay again. So they have to make a show of sacrifices. And again, there's corporate thinking. That's corporate thinking, because in the corporation, the individual doesn't count, only the overall intention. And they sacrifice. Making a sacrifice is corporate thinking. And you have that all over the Bible as well. You know, was Jesus better that one should die so that the rest shall live? Or what you've been told, you know, pluck out an eye or cut off a leg or whatever. As long as you get in there in parts, you know, make sacrifices, is fine. That's corporate thinking. So they have their scapegoats lined up. So they can make a show, and that's going into the tribulation. There will be a show of, you know, things will be put into the burning pit of fire, and they will be destroyed, and good will triumph over evil. It's going to be a big show. Yeah, I have a feeling one of the things they might sacrifice is the Catholic Church. She's been set up as the harlot, as the whore of Babylon. Although I would say she is not the mother of all harlots. She's the daughter of an even greater harlot than herself. But she has been grown into a big thing, and she's now been made a sacrifice of. Politicians will be sacrificed. There will be some corporations that will be sacrificed. You know, and then this new thing will come in that will serve the people. New knowledge, a new structure, a new God that will rule over us. And as I said in the book, it says we go asleep again for 1,000 years until we wake up and said, what the hell? Nothing is new under the sun, and how did we get here this time? Because we went back to sleep again, and we never corrected, or we never became aware of how to judge correctly. Yeah? Because we do go unconscious, that's what we do. But then our subconscious should go through the correct law to lead us, even if we're not aware. And for that we have to make this correction inside of ourselves. And then first of all, we need to know the difference between common law, according to ourselves. I am is Lord. According what I know is good and evil, don't do it to somebody else. That's common law. And that is, don't do it to those beneath you, don't do it to those above you. In society, it doesn't matter. It is for all. And then no corporate law, the law of intentions, the law of the few, and that the law of the few cannot be above the law of all. That is the picture of the Son elevating itself above the will of the Father, because the few are only a part, sons, and they cannot elevate themselves above. So when we go forward out of this, and there will be new institutions, and there will be new groups formed, we always will be in groups and stuff, and that's fine. And there will be rules inside the groups to organize the groups, again, that's fine. It has to be done, there needs to be structure. First of all, corporate groups can only be rules, they cannot be laws. The law is the common law, and that is the only law. So inside the groups there can only be rules, and the rules must be within the common law. Yeah? So that is to say, if you're in a group like a church, and you'll be told, well, this is good and this is right and this is wrong, and you should do this to somebody else according to our rules, then you must judge. You must be the judge of that according to common law. And you cannot go blindly saying, well, the church told me so. Take responsibility for your own actions and always act under common law. So this is what we must understand, because when they build this new system, it's built by the same people, and they will again work under corporate law. then we must see it, and we must see right and wrong correctly. We must see right and wrong correctly. We must judge under common law. See, the other thing is the law of Moses. Again, when I said that the corporate law must be according to the common law, where there's parts in the law of Moses like the punishment for adultery is stoning to death, then that goes against the commandment of you shall not kill. So there again, whereas where corporate law has elevated itself above common law. See, that is what we must see, that is what we must understand correctly. We must be aware ourselves, what law are we under? Yeah? And if we are in a group, and we are in a group rule, we must still operate on common law at all times. And if the group does something wrong, we must correct the group under common law, according to common law. And then we, every part, will operate correctly. I don't know if this thinking can now stop what is happening at the moment. I don't know if we can stop it. But at least we can go through it, seeing what is happening with our eyes open, and we're going through this tribulation, coming out the other side, knowing good from evil. And I mean, there will be a period where everything has to be rebuilt, and then if we are in the correct thinking at that time, I mean, preferably it should stop what's happening, but if we're at least in the correct thinking when we're rebuilding, building on the correct foundation of good and evil, then what will come next should last. And it should serve us. It should serve us, it should serve all. So this is how we get to being of sound judgment, by knowing the difference between the two laws, being aware what law we are actually under ourselves, and then and staying aware of that, and then doing, speaking and thinking according to the correct law. Anyway, I leave it at that. And I talk to you again soon. Bye.